Um, I haven't recorded any videos in quite some time, so I'm going to start with, I guess, the most recent, and then I'll work my way back. Okay, I went to one of the Trump protests today, where really it was meant to just be about the Muslim ban, at least for me, okay, in terms of the 7 countries, mostly Muslim, none of whom have had any terrorists that have killed American citizens, all of whom the U.S. has bombed. So to me, this is kind of a matter of aiding genocide that, oh, by the way, was in terms of these countries, oh, by the way, was started by Obama, at least in terms of the most recent run of bombings. Although I think at least in a couple of a sizable number of them before Obama did it, Bush did it, Junior, shall we say? And none of the banned countries were countries that we've actually had terrorists killing Americans from. So this wasn't started by Trump by any stretch of imagination. It was just continued by him because he's the latest, whatever you want to call him, that's been, in this case, definitely put in via, in large part, due to election fraud. So, I tried for a while to stay kind of neutral, or at least as much as I could be, on Trump. I really did, because my attitude was simply that he had not, I mean, aside from being clearly a misogynistic, wealthy, creep, which that pretty much fits a couple of thousand people, most of whom are under the category of senators and congress people nationwide, in terms of wealthy and all that. And yes, Trump had also had a history, and most of those people that I just mentioned don't, of not paying low-level employees and who have worked for him. And so that was one thing that I definitely did hold against him. And again, these are people that did good work and later on had to at least try to sue him, and I think at least a couple of them won to get back the money that he owed them, but a good number of them haven't. So either they didn't have the money to sue him or whatever. But so he has a history of doing that. But again, everyone has some kind of history. So of something. And in many ways, I will always admire and respect Bernie Sanders, but he did not tackle, and it might have very well been due to threats against him and or his family that were made. I don't really know. We will never know. Odds are what happened with regards to that. He definitely had his position in the Senate threatened, to my mind anyway. But beyond that, I don't know. And again, odds are we'll never know what else happened behind the scenes. But bottom line is, he did not go after the election fraud, nor did his team, as it was occurring. So, and it still has not been addressed. So, I was going to say, everyone has something. But now, with this latest thing, he's gone against the Trump administration, new administration, has gone against the courts and instituted these halting and people who've either been, we're talking about, by the way, green card holders and visa holders. Okay, we're not talking about, and this is one of the misnomers that I've gotten a lot, is people who are applying for them. We're talking about people who have already gone through the process legally, have already been fully vetted, and yet they're still being held. Okay, so it's a huge issue. My family got here between about 1905 and about 1935 as a result of the building anti-Semitism in in the Soviet bloc, which is to say Poland and Russia. Okay, my family is Belarusian and Polish Jewish in ancestry. But again, to say I'm a new immigrant or I'm an immigrant, I was not here in terms of quote unquote the Columbus, or I'm not indigenous, okay, but at the same time, two of my four grandparents, again all four of whom have since passed on, were born in this country. Both of my parents were born in this country. The two grandparents that weren't born here got here before they hit the age of 10. And everyone relative of mine that's older, they all were college educated as well. So, except for my aunt, but one of my aunts, which is to say, but she's intellectually disabled to the point of nonverbal. So, college education obviously was never going to happen. But, and again, I'm not putting down people that have not gotten college educated, but I'm saying, though, that to some degree that is equated with citizenship, and with reasonable degree of success in this country. But, the fact is that anti-Muslim bigotry is half anti-Semitism. There's two halves to it. It's Semitic peoples, which is to say Jews and Muslims. So to me, this is, when you say anti-Islam, anti-Muslim, it's anti-Semite. It's anti-Semitism. Just as you say anti-Jewish bigotry, that's anti-Semitism. The only thing that I've never ever known in terms of quote unquote personal interactions, I had for a while a friend of mine in high school who agreed with me that that Yasser Arafat looked like he had a rat's face, and she was a pal and quirky and funny, and I absolutely adored her. I believe her name was Summer Habib. Haven't seen her in ages, but if I ever saw her again, I mean, really, the only thing I can think of is I want to hug her. And then there have been the people that I haven't gotten really to know, but who found me trying to find kosher style food in eateries that I haven't known, and when I'm new to an area, and have pointed out the kosher style and given me, told me where there's no shellfish, where there's no pork, and otherwise when no one else has been really around or even trying to help, and all of a sudden, and it always is, I don't know why, but this is the case. It's always been someone that has turned out to be Muslim. It's never been another person that's Jewish, and it's never been someone that's Christian. It's always been someone that's Muslim. And in part it's probably because halal, which is their religious dietary restrictions, and kosher overlap so much. But again, it's also, but that's not the only realm that our religions are similar. So that's where the concept of, again, Semitic, Muslims and Jews share more in common with each other as religions, and I think really to some degree in culture as well, than we do actually with a large majority of Christians and Christianity. Fact is, if you're going to profile on the basis of who is most violent in this country, and you're going to take into account religion, and you're going to take into account gender, then and or race, then you should be profiling, and you should be detaining all of the white male Christians in this country. Okay? Because they've actually caused the most deaths, especially in terms of mass murder, in terms of bombings, in terms of machine guns, or automatic weapons. That's who's done it. They're also generally people who have committed domestic violence in their homes in the United States. So that brings us back to the concept of who are they actually detaining? It's not at all, and that's why many of us are calling it anti-Muslim bigotry or anti-Semitism in my case, because that's what it's showing itself to be. It's not based upon statistics. Again, if you were just basing it off statistics, profiling, saying, oh well, let's be sensible, let's profile white male Christians, you'd grab them first. I'm not saying you should grab any of them, okay? Closest thing to that is, I'd say, raise the sentencing for all of the people who are currently incarcerated for domestic violence and question them a little bit more, okay? But again, those are people who've already, and try as well to prosecute domestic violence more, okay? But again, that's not me telling you lock up all or detain them all, because again, we're talking about people who've already been accused of an actual crime, domestic violence. These people have not done any harm to anyone. They should be allowed to go about their lives in peace, because when we as a country, when we as people try to do stunts like this, we're encouraging non-violent people to become violent. And that's why this needs to stop. Because A, it's pointless, and if anything, it's going to cause the exact opposite reaction than even the most idealized minded people want it to create. If they really, as I think a good number of them do, have good hearts, but just are not seeing the full picture. Shalom.